This week on the show, I celebrate 200 episodes of The Darriel Roy Show. Hello and welcome to this very special episode where I celebrate the wonderful landmark of 200 episodes of The Darriel Roy Show. 200 episodes of thought-provoking interviews, inspiration, and motivation. In this episode, I'll be looking back at the interviews I've done over the years and picking my top 10 favorite interviews and sharing the inspirational message behind each interview. First up on the list is my interview with Little John. In this interview, Little John shares his inspirational advice of sticking with your goals and never giving up. Wardrobe provided by Le Chateau. And I always like to end the show on a positive note, and I want to talk about, we have a lot of viewers and entrepreneurs who maybe are afraid to, go after their dreams and goals, because my show is all about inspiration and inspiring our audience. So, for our viewers that are maybe afraid to pursue their goals or they're going through a hard time, what advice do you have for them to maybe, follow their dreams and become a success like you did?
Well, you just gotta, nothing in life is easy, man. Nothing is easy.
Yeah.
So if you really, really, really want to do something, you stick with it and you just don't give up, because eventually the sun is going to shine on you. It'll come around to you. You know what I mean? So like, I didn't make it overnight. It took me a long time to break through and become commercially successful. So it's a grind. But, if you really believe in yourself and you believe in what you're doing, you just stick with it. Just stick with it long enough and it'll happen.
In my one-on-one with Priyanka Chopra Jonas, she teaches us that being fearless is a choice you make, even when you're scared. Let's look at the clip.
You're very fearless and authentic. Where do you think that fearless attitude comes from?
I think you have to teach yourself that. I think no human being is born with qualities like that. Yeah. Confidence is something you teach yourself. I wasn't confident always. I am not confident always. Sometimes I get scared and sometimes I get thrown. Mm-hmm. But the choice that I make is to be fearless. That doesn't mean I don't get scared. Be unafraid when I take the first step into my day. Mm-hmm. But there would be things, I'm sure, that'll come up that would scare me and petrify me. And it's okay, knowing that no matter what happens, eventually it'll be okay.
In my red carpet interview with Nicolas Cage, he teaches us the lesson of surrounding yourself with good people who lift you up. Here's a look.
Nick, my show is all about inspiration, so I have to ask you, I like to inspire my viewers. What's the best advice someone gave you in your life that inspired you?
I think it was Martin Sheen. Before Charlie or myself really started hitting it, I went over to visit and we were watching movies, and Martin came into the room and he said, if you want to have this life in cinema, the only thing that really matters is, did you like where you were and did you like the people you were working with? And I thought at the time I didn't say it. I was like, well, no, that's not what it is. It's about the story. It's about, the passion. But then I realized doing this as long as I have that he was right. And I do look for, do I like this person? Do I like where I am when I make the decision to make a movie?
In this powerful conversation with Carlos Santana, he teaches us the power of gratitude and how being grateful every day can change our lives. I love the fact that, so many times in this interview, you mentioned that you are grateful. And I think that's so important, right? Because when we're grateful, we attract more blessings into our life. Have you always been like this? And how has gratitude played a part in your life in manifesting more abundance?
It's the first thing I say when I wake up in the morning, is gratitude, thankfulness, deep appreciation for my next breath, that I can touch the ground, for this and for that. So, yes, we call it, with gratitude, you immediately have spiritual traction, velocity, so we invite people to, if you want to be successful, profitable, and would be lucrative, be grateful first.
Yeah.
And all things will come to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I created this platform to inspire our audience and to showcase anything as possible. So I want to ask you, what advice would you give for someone out there that, is maybe giving up on their dreams, not seeing it manifest in their life, and just kind of struggling and maybe giving up? What would you say to them to encourage them to, believe in themselves and kind of go after their dreams?
Get out of your own way. You know, if you want to be successful, God has a 747 full of blessings and gifts and all kinds of things for you. I mean, incredible. But you're standing on the runway. Get out of the runway. Let it so you can land. You know, don't doubt yourself. Look in the mirror and say, "Yes, sí se puede. Yes, I can. I'm a manifester. You know, God loves me and believes in me." If you just say that alone, God loves me and He believes in me. Just say that. Just chew that over and over and over, and then you will be successful because you will become a magnet that attracts abundance and possibilities. Thank you so much.
In this interview, Sha Paul teaches us the value of the power of resilience and riding the wave of life through its highs and lows.
You can't always be on top, and you must be at the bottom for. Sometimes you must be there to be able to see how to get yourself out. You know what I mean? And it's such a big accomplishment when you do. So that was the biggest advice in my life. It gave me patience. It gave me understanding of timing. It gave me just resilience. It gave me this ambition or this philosophy to just keep trying again. If 10 times you cry, 10 times you dry your eye, you know what I mean?
In this in-depth interview with Nikki Jam, he talks about how the challenges in his life have made him into who he is today.
We talked about some success, but let's talk about the challenges. Like, what kind of challenges did you face in the beginning of your career, and how did you get through it? Because it might inspire someone out there who's trying to make it and, you know, maybe is giving up.
I mean, my challenges are not normal challenges. I mean, I come from a very dark past, and my mom was a drug addict. My dad was a drug addict. I was a drug addict for a long time. I was in jail for 3 years, and that's just the beginning of a couple of my challenges. You know, but what I'm trying to say, if you want a message for these young people that are listening, I came from the darkest hole that you could imagine, and if I made it and I did good, you could do it too. It's all about discipline, faith in God, and you're gonna make it.
Next up on my list is my conversation with Manuel Terizo. Manuel teaches us the value of having the determination to succeed. You know, Manuel, I created this platform to inspire, to uplift, and basically to showcase that anything is possible if you have a dream and a vision, and showcase success stories like yours. So I want to ask you, for our viewers that are watching this, that, you know, maybe is going through a hard time, they're working hard, but they're not seeing their dreams, you know, manifest. What would you say to inspire and uplift them?
You cannot give up. You cannot give up. Never. You know? Because everybody has a different opportunities, different journey. Like maybe sometimes when you look around, you're gonna see people that you're gonna ask yourself, like, damn, I'm working so hard, maybe more than anybody else around you. Why I'm not being like that successful, like him or like her, whatever. But I feel you cannot pay attention to that, or you cannot think about that. I feel if you continue, no matter what happens, if you continue trying, if you continue improving yourself, if you continue learning, if you continue like looking for what is gonna be like your style, what is gonna be that thing or that group of people that you're gonna represent, one day you're gonna find it, and one day you're gonna get it. Because I can tell you, like, I know a lot of people, a lot of artists, that for them to maybe to be successful, like in the way music or sustainable, they took for them like 10 years, 15 years, you know?
Yeah.
But the key was that they never gave up.
Yeah.
They never stopped. They always, every day, they continue. What else I can do? 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 And that's why I feel if you're doing music, or not only music, you have to do something that you love, because that's what is gonna like move you every day to keep trying.
Of course, I can't forget my interview with Neil deGrasse Tyson, who teaches us to use failure to motivate you rather than deter you from succeeding. Let's roll the clip.
What's the best advice someone ever gave you in your career and that really inspired you, something you took away that really inspired you in hopes to inspire someone else? Neil, let's start with you.
Sometimes advice is there to be had, but you have to recognize it when it's staring you in the face. It's not, well, here's the 10 things you should know. So it doesn't always happen that way.
Yeah.
So you can glean advice by the life experience of others when shared with you. There are people who are discouraged and then they walk home with their head down. And then there are people who hear the discouragement and it lifts them up.
Yeah.
So for me, the greatest lesson there, it's not so much advice, but it's a lesson, is it's possible to take people who want to push you down and flip it and have it become a buoyant force for you. Just remembering that, no, they are not going to take advantage. They are not going to get the better end of you. And that could be so motivating. And in my life, wanting to become an astrophysicist in a world, in a time, in a place where if you had my skin color, no, you can be an athlete, you can dance for me, okay? But you can't, or sing, but that's all. And so taking a path of most resistance, that was very important advice for me going forward.
Yeah. Next up, Kat Von D teaches us the power of authenticity and that you don't have to be anyone but you to be liked.
Yeah, you've had so much success, and as you said, you sold your company to your beauty brand, but but you really were the face of it, and you were really the person that launched it. Have you been surprised by your success so far, just in every aspect?
Of course. Oh my God, I felt like an outsider my entire life. Even within my own family unit, I really didn't feel like I belonged a lot of times, and so I'm used to people kind of criticizing or being weirded out by my eccentric, weird style, and to have like people embrace it, it's pretty mind-blowing. I still sometimes wonder, like, wow, you guys really like me, or I just can't like wrap my mind around it.
In my interview with Shaggy, he teaches us the power of belief, that you have to believe in you before anyone else does.
If you can leave one piece of advice that someone gave you, or a mantra you live by, what piece of advice would you give our audience on kind of achieving success and kind of believing in yourself?
Well, I think you just hit the nail. You have to believe in you before you sell you to anybody else.
Yeah.
In my case, if everybody could see my vision, then they'd go do it. Sell your vision. So if you're selling your vision and most people aren't grasping to it, it simply means that's because you're special.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if everybody could see it, then they just go do it. But if you got a plan and a vision for yourself, you really just got to work hard to it. I like doing things and people thinking, wow, I didn't expect that. And that's kind of my little high that I go for. I like proving people wrong in that sense. They'd be like, oh, well, that can't happen. And this, and then you just, blow them out the box, Not that it would change, because they'll still, unfortunately in this game, sometimes people fail their way up. But
yeah.
Last but not least, in my interview with Martin Luther King III, he teaches us that darkness cannot put out darkness, only light can.
I would say initially start with an old football analogy, and that is, quitters never win and winners never quit. So it is really about a foundation, and no matter how dark it gets, I often think about the plight of certain people. Mr. Mandela stayed in jail for 27 years for doing nothing wrong, that is. And yet he didn't come out bitter and hostile and with his hands, I can't do anything. He came out and became the first black head of state of that country. But there are so many examples of people. They're inventors who worked on a project 1,000 times and it finally became something that changed the world. We often hear about the victories, but we don't hear about the story that they had to go through to get to the victory. There's an old saying in church tradition, weeping may endure for a day, but joy cometh in the morning. And no matter how bad a situation may seem at that moment, you lose a job or you lose a close friend or relative. I personally lost a dad at 10 years old. At 11 years old, my uncle, my father's brother, mysteriously drowned. At 16, my grandmother was gunned down in the church. So I had to overcome these tragedies. And every one of us has something. Into everyone's life, rain sometimes falls. Sometimes you get knocked down. Oftentimes, in fact, you may get knocked down, but you have to get back up. Yeah. And when you get back up, you have to somehow stay focused and really derive some level of hope and inspiration. And, often for me, it has been prayer. It has been meditation. It has been looking elsewhere and looking out of one's own self, because you can wallow in your own pity. It is so true in life that your attitude determines your altitude.
Yes.
So you've got to tune, no matter how hard it is, it always goes back to where you start, what you think about, and where you want to be is what you can become. But if you're always thinking and focusing on negative, unfortunately, that's what you're going to get. But if you're always thinking and knowing that you can create positive, that is what you will get.
Thank you to all my viewers for your continued support and celebrating this momentous occasion of 200 episodes with me. I cannot help but feel so proud of myself and my whole team for achieving this incredible milestone. Cheers to another 200, and thank you for watching.